We live. 2024, we back. Welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome back. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. The greatest show on earth and turf is back. Market Mondays, y'all. Hope y'all feeling well. Little snowy, little chilly up here in the Northeast.
I heard y'all about to get a flood and the snowing and the cold.
They said 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's a no-go. That's bad work. Tough. What's it looking like in the H-Town?
Raining as well. But I'm happy to be here. 2024. Time for us to drop that blueprint how to get rich. No loans floating in our circle, you know what I mean?
There's no boundaries on this how to make some money, man. All the way out in Ghana, people walking up to us and just, telling their testimonies and their stories of how they listen to some of the information and were able to make money and change their family's outcome. So there really is no boundary to this, man. So salute to both of you, Shadi and Ian, and for the work, man, because it ain't easy, but we do it. We do it every week. We do it. And we back for another 51 weeks. Let's do it.
What a blessing it is to be able to do this, though.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's fun.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Shot, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Happy to be back. From Ghana, had a great time with y'all. Celebrating New Year's Eve was legendary.
It looked as fun as it was. As it
Absolutely.
was.
I think that was my most fun New Year's Eve.
We had a good time, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever brought in New Year's at that late of an hour. We tried to stay up till the sun rose, and I think we probably got back to the hotel around the sunrise. But it's a different level of energy out there, man. Different level of energy. Shout out to everybody that pulled up on us out in Ghana. It was incredible. Accra is incredible. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, thanks to everybody that came to the Ghana show, the whole world tour.
Yeah,
that we did last year. Thank you to Allah for sponsoring that.
Yes.
And 2024. We had a lot of good moments last year. So looking forward to turning it up again this year. So without further ado, we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's going crazy. So it's a lot going on right now.
Nvidia went crazy today. 52 we got
all-time high.
Yeah, glorious day in the market. Nasdaq was up almost 300, about to hit that 15,000. It's been a while since we've been there. So it was a good day. Oh, whoa. It's a big day in the Millions household. Happy birthday to my son. Happy birthday to my son. He turned 10 today, 10 glorious years on earth, man. It's been incredible. We just cut the cake maybe 10 minutes ago. So shout out to everybody upstairs that's celebrating, and shout out to everybody that wished him happy birthday on social media and everybody that reached out, man. I appreciate it. He's having an amazing day. He's having an amazing day.
He gets to skip school tomorrow?
Nah, he got to go back, man. Ghana, he went to the game yesterday. We missed school today, so we got to go back at some point.
I'll try him out. But happy birthday. Sure, I told him in Ghana I would try.
Happy birthday, for sure. Okay, so get to it. We got a big week for Earn Your Leisure. We got Shonda Martin tomorrow.
Big one.
Credit's always one of these episodes that do well. And we haven't done credit in about a year. So we're talking about credit. We're talking about how to improve your credit. We're talking about best practices, how to build credit, all those things. So we thought that would be a good way to start the new year with an episode about credit, because like I said, credit is always mandatory in today's society. So we got that. And I think that's the only announcement that we have. Davos, Switzerland, we'll be back out there next week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in Davos, give us a jingle, and we can have coffee or something along those. So, and it's a fashion week in Paris too, so might swing out there. You never know.
Perhaps.
But yeah, Europe. We'll be out there. We'll be in Europe.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible for sure.
You never know.
Illuminati meetings.
That's a fact. We got some people coming with us too this year.
Y'all meet with reptilians?
Tell Katt Williams.
we was out there with Joe. Shout out to Fat Joe last year. This year we got another dope pioneer, a legend that's gonna be out there with us. I don't want to give anything away, but stay tuned for something special. Davos says we about to turn it up again.
Shout out to Dre.
Yeah, shout out to Dre Lion, the Lion, the legend himself. Yeah, cool and Dre for sure.
For sure. Ian, any announcements?
Yes, if you want to get rich in 2024, please join Stock Club. You get the year worth of stock picks, the best prices of where to get in and what to stay away from. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. I will save my pettiness for later. Troy, I see you Euro step my pettiness at the top of the show. So, but if you would like to know what companies to invest in, if I called NVIDIA last year and y'all made a bunch of money, please put yes in chat. Let me get fire in chat. Let me get pandas in chat. I'm in a good mood. Stock Club call will be Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central, our first one of the year. And tune into the episode tomorrow. I appreciate y'all had a blast in Ghana. So feeling better. Let's get to it. Let's make some money. Shout out to my guy Ty. He here in the building.
Ty, what up?
Birthday, Cam. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that jersey's hard too, man. I'm looking at this jersey. That's tough.
Thank you, man.
That's part of the 24 collection.
You know. Yeah.
Let me know y'all sizes. I'll send something.
Yeah,
Jack is on the way too. So
that joint's hard. Shout out to Chris Latt.
Yeah, shout out to Chris.
Brother Chris Latt, man.
Chris, what's up?
Yeah.
Send me the cash app. I'll send it over.
If you know, you know. Yeah, man. Without further ado, you know how this works, man. Let's do your own research. 2024, the rules still apply. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. This is a message brought to you by the good brothers at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor himself. Continue to do the research all 2024, y'all. We going way up. We going way up.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Sure. So let's start this episode with Cameron, because I think it's fitting. So, and I actually have the shirt on as well. So Cam had a thing that went pretty viral a couple days ago where he said that.
What Killer say?
He said that he doesn't really like the term African American. He would prefer to be called a Black American. And then he proceeded to say the reason why he feels like that is because Africans don't really rock with Black people in America too much, and a variety of other things. And so I feel like that's a good topic to talk about because we just came back from Ghana. So yeah, I think that Cameron is one of the greatest rappers ever, and somebody that, you know, is a cultural icon for sure, and doing a tremendous job.
We doing a sandwich. Start with a compliment. Okay, go ahead. You're doing good.
And I listened to the whole thing in totality, and you know, I don't think that he was wrong in a variety of different things that he said, but there's a narrative out there that I think is extremely detrimental when it comes to the continent of Africa, as opposed to, you know, saying like, you know, well, Africans don't really rock with Black people, or Africans ain't really welcome to Black people. And the majority of people that have said this have never been to Africa. So I just feel like it's not really beneficial, because regardless how you feel about it, whether you think you came from Africa or you're a Native American or whatever, that's a different conversation. But there's a lot of opportunities in Africa, and people, you know, everybody that we met was very welcoming. Yes. Not only welcoming as far as hospitality, but also welcoming as far as entrepreneurship. Like saying, like, yeah, we will welcome you to do business here. Like, you know, it's needed. Even Akon has said that before, as far as like, you know, Americans have certain business acumen and education and resources and different things that, you know, other parts of the world don't have. So this is why you see a lot of foreigners coming into the continent of Africa, whether it's the China, whether it's, you know, people in the Middle East, whether it's, of course, Europeans. They've been there for forever. So my thing is, like, instead of people that's coming in for exploitation purposes, why would you not want to, you know, because Black people don't even know how to exploit other people, even if we try to. Like, you know, we just have genuinely good hearts. So if we come, we actually gonna, you know, add some level of culture and help the situation, as opposed to just taking the money and going back to China. So yeah, I feel like that was a very timely thing that he said, and it started a conversation. But once again, I just feel like it's a very misguided conversation, and I would encourage people to see for yourself. Yeah, it's definitely propaganda for sure, because there's so much opportunity, and you're missing out on opportunity by being ignorant and by, you know, being closed-minded. And only thing that's going to happen is that somebody else is going to take the opportunity. So I feel like there's a lot of business to be done in Africa, and where we came from, as far as Ghana specifically, and I'm hearing other parts of the continent as well. And like I said, everybody was extremely welcoming to us, not only on the hospitality side, but on the business side as well. So I just think that we just have to be careful of infighting, fighting with each other. And, you know, we don't really have any power in America, and we fighting with people that have less power than us. So it's like, where are we really going? And we talk about the Katt Williams thing, but it's like, you know, we have a habit of racing to the bottom, like, you know, fighting amongst each other, and none of us really have power. So what are we really gaining from this situation? There's no benefit in Black people fighting with Africans. What benefit is that? Like, like that's no benefit at all. Nobody's gonna win in that situation. So I don't know. I just felt like it was something to speak about, and like I said, kind of timely because we just came from there. So, you know, once again, I just encourage everybody to see things for themselves and not listen to what other people tell you or what other people on social media tell you or different things of that nature. It's like, at the end of the day, I think you can still be proud of your heritage as an American, but why would you be closed-minded to different parts of the world, especially to a part of the world where people look like you? Makes no sense.
Yeah, I just thought it is unfortunate, especially like you said, we had just come back, and one of the things before I saw that clip, I was thinking about when we had gone to the Slave River, and they were talking about the return home, and in order to return home, one of the things you know that was taken from you, the most important thing that was taken from you, was your name, and so it's tough to come back to a place when you don't know your name because it was stripped, and when we sat there and we had a moment as a family, I want to say that, like, as a family, it's like 30 of us there, and thinking about that, it weighed on me. And I'm thinking about all the people who didn't have this opportunity and will never have the opportunity to travel. That level of education, that level of experience, it's tough to really conceptualize, right? And so when I heard Cam say it, I was like, damn, okay, I get what he's saying, but there's a part of education that maybe he's missed in that part, and what he can do to help bridge that gap in education. So it was a moment that I think that he may have missed, just because of his personal experiences that he's had thus far. But that doesn't mean that that'll be his circumstances in the next 5 to 10 years. Hopefully, you know, what we saw there was plenty of opportunity and plenty of hospitality and growth. And the more we see that, and the more that's the narrative, hopefully that mindset will change, and it'll have a different message. So again, it was just unfortunate to hear it, but it takes nothing away from who I think Cam is as a person, as an artist, and as a person in media right now. I think what he's done is incredible. But hopefully, you know, with new narratives that hopefully we'll be able to paint, and others around us will be able to paint, that mindset will change. Not for him, but more people as well.
Interesting book everyone should read is Edward Bernays' Propaganda. This is global redlining. Like, even for the experience that we had was absolutely amazing. Everyone on the continent was like super loving. So yeah, it was misguided at best. While Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia is mining the hell out of Africa, and China is taking over, I think that's a misguided take at best. So but shout to Killer. Shout to Killer.
Yeah.
They said you said the best what? You said one of the best lyricists, right?
He said best rappers of all time.
Oh yeah, I seen a comment. Somebody said the best what?
No, he's one of the. I mean, he's a legend. He's a rap legend.
Yeah, okay.
We're not gonna act like he's not a rap legend.
I'm not arguing that. Somebody did said that.
And yeah, I think he might have been referring to Africans that live in America. I don't know if Cameron has even ever been to Africa, but I'm just saying, still in general,
that message.
It's just it's a very broad brush that he's painting with, and he has a big platform. He has a big voice. So I think you just got to be a little bit more careful when you say things. Like I said, from a pure, take everything out of it. I know he loves money. So from a pure business standpoint, like, why would you alienate yourself from 2 billion people?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Let's only speak on things that we know in 2024. Shout out to Cam. I want to smoke.
Nah, like I said, shout out to Cam, Mace, Stat Baby. All right. So now that we got that out the way, who are the biggest business losers in 2023? Before we get into 2024 conversation, let's talk. Yeah. Let's recap 2023. Hit the like button and share.
Yeah, share with 5 friends. I was going to do 3, but let's go through 5. Number 1, Disney. Number 2, AMC. Number 3, Dollar General. Number 4, Chinese stocks. And number 5, Pfizer. I think Pfizer Man, a bunch of issues. They lost a patent on a bunch of drugs. When the healthcare space started to heat up and Eli Lilly caught fire, their stock has dropped almost 46% from those highs. So they have a lot of work to do. I think management needs to change. And if they don't, it's been a pick in Stock Club, and I told Stock Club maybe 4 months ago, this was going to happen. So we are entering like a load the boat scenario, if you will. But they need to get a better class of drugs. And I think they mismanaged the business a lot. Disney, we've talked about. I think they're going to stray away from that woke agenda in 2024. I saw 2 Disney movies this year. I was bored out of my mind with Xander when I saw them. And I think media as a whole is in trouble. I'm surprised Dollar General didn't do a lot better in 2023. But when you have that gap widening between the have and have-nots, usually when the market is in a downturn or the economy gets tighter, Dollar General usually does pretty well, but they didn't do well this time. And I think as a basket of companies, Chinese stocks are still getting hammered. And then with all the geopolitical threats that we have and the soft war that they're waging against us, they were the 4th loser of 2023. So I'm still not in favor of Disney until management is better, until the movie line is better. AMC, I told y'all what was going to happen. But Pfizer, they need to make some significant changes in 2024 to get back on my favorable list.
I'm with you on all of them, except Disney. Only because if we go by percentage,
okay,
they would, right. If we go by percentage, technically they don't qualify as one of the worst stocks. I think we can say that they had a bad year based on everything you said. And forward guidance, right? When we were talking about the leadership, and we spoke about this a few times about who now takes over for Iger, but you're starting to see them climb out of it. If you start to look at some of the deals that have been made, the new ESPN deal that's going to happen, NBA, there's some deals that are happening that are making sense. I agree with you in terms of the movies, but they're scaling back on those, right? If we look at percentage, if we look at percentage, they were down 4% from in last year. When you have companies like Moderna, Pfizer, Plug
that are dead, yeah, for real,
right? So I'm with you on all those, and we'll talk about the stock that I think that performed the worst, and I thought would do better inside of that Chinese stocks, Alibaba. When you put all Chinese stocks, I had Alibaba in there as well. So
yeah,
I'm with you on all those. But disclaimer, I have shares in Disney, so obviously I'm a believer in it. So I felt a little personally attacked there, Ian. Thank you.
Sorry. Well, if I'm on an attack mode, Mikey Peloton.
Shout out to Peloton.
Not the influencer players working out, but
no, he won't listen to us. But yeah, Peloton would be in that category too, even with the TikTok deal. And did you see that announcement today? TikTok, they're trying to get $17 billion in ad money in 2024, which should be interesting. So that TikTok deal might be the first of many things that they're going to be coming out with on the platform.
That's encouraging. Well, at least, for Disney, I can say the level that they're at now is where they were at 2014, 2016, almost there in 2020. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad place to start to look to buy. I like that if it gets to 89 or 88, it wouldn't be bad. But I think media as a whole, American media, the margins are too thin, and it's too much content. Like media companies are starting to go through what rap went through. Like there's more people creating content than fans of it. So unless they make some incredible movies, and then we haven't even talked about the parks, I think they need to try and find a way to restructure the debt. But since inflation is here, it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
But I think they need a better succession plan for the next 10 years.
I think that's the key. And this is the first time in I think maybe 8 years that they got passed as a studio for the highest grossing studio in Hollywood. I think Paramount might have passed it or Sony, with the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer coming out. It was the first time that Disney actually took second place, which is like we always talk about. If you're not growing, then what are you doing?
Dying. Or borrowing money.
Borrowing money. Restructuring. No, restructuring.
You not having none of my shit today. Okay.
Positivity.
I'm going to stay locked in.
Positivity.
2024.
Thank you.
For sure. Somebody said Jonathan Majors was the biggest loser.
He was on.
I'm not mad at it. That's the stock I was short. Man, they had my man in the R. Kelly interview.
Good Morning America today.
Hey, I pray none of us ever have to sit in that seat.
Did y'all see the interview? Did you watch it? They asked him about the Coretta Scott comment.
He got to quit using that.
Yeah.
What do you say?
You overusing that. Like,
he said he needed a woman to support him that's reminiscent of Coretta Scott, Michelle Obama, and obviously Black Twitter wasn't having it.
Can't be acting like I turned to putting it back in the truck though.
Well, she was out of a different ethnic background, so people weren't really feeling that. But he was saying he aspired to be those men, the Martin Luther Kings, the Barack Obamas. That's where he was aspiring to be with his career, and he needed a woman of that stature to understand that, to support him. And then we saw what happened, and then he got found guilty. And shout out to Megan Good, who is now his soulmate. So shout out to him.
Megan holding it down though,
but he did take an L in 23. Yeah,
that bad queen when he rebounds.
He had like 17 Army commercials. They stripped him right away. You're done.
That's tough.
And then Disney kicked him out too. Speaking of Disney,
hold your head,
hold
man.
your head, bro.
Hold your head. Hit the like button.
Creed 4
and share.
Man, imagine being on top of the world and losing everything. Like, and I know it's been a lot. We talked about the Katt situation. Just be more careful. I told y'all last year, 2024 is going to be the year that a lot gets exposed. Be careful. Be careful. Don't put yourself in any situations that will cause you to lose everything. He worked his whole life to get here in one moment. But like Katt said, like if I give it to you, it can be taken away. Be mindful. Another reason why you artists and entertainers need to invest. It's another reason. I am begging you, deploy some of that capital into whether it's real estate, stocks. So in case anything like this happens and you fall from glory, you'll have at least a backup plan financially. So
yeah. Hold your hat.
Yep.
Where's Umar Johnson when you need him?
On Joe Budden's podcast. Umar, I've been texting you for like 5 months too. You and Alex Jones, when y'all coming on?
Alex Jones.
They're going to go see the reptilians next week.
Shout out to Ish, man.
Yeah, 8-foot alien in Miami.
Hey,
that was crazy.
I watched the Nephilim in Miami. Man, stop.
You got an 8-foot alien walking the streets of Miami, and you got the Alaska Airlines door blowing off mid-flight.
Boy,
we off to a start, man.
I would have passed out. I would have passed out, and I had no seatbelt on too.
Now you wish you was listening to the messages before the flight.
I told y'all about Boeing. Leave it alone.
Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
We thought that Ghana diet was bad, boy.
Everybody made it safe.
Set the club up.
That's most important.
Short United.
Boeing took a hit off of that. I mean, all jokes aside, right? Like that could have been tragic. Everybody made it safe. I think a phone was lost. I think that was the worst thing that happened. But we saw what happened. I mean, this happened over the weekend. So today, when the market opened, we saw Boeing down 8% because they were ordered to land all the 737 MAX jets, which is, I mean, that affects the company. Who knows when they'll get back off the ground? But these are the type of things, right? Like it's something that's happening.
By the way, go ahead.
Yeah, something that just happens in the world. Now it affects the stock market, right? We're talking about Boeing, which 2 years ago had a similar issue, right? They lost 2 planes. They couldn't find them, couldn't recover them. These things happen continuously. Almost 10% in 20 minutes. So, I mean, unfortunate event. Hopefully, again, everybody was safe and we have no more incidents like this because I don't know. I would have passed out. It would have been horrific.
Yeah, it would have been over with for me.
It would have been horrific. Yeah.
I would have been screaming like DC Young Fly. I ain't even gonna lie to you. My Lord.
That camera phone, they was too calm. Too calm.
Shout out to Apple for getting allowed that the phone survived 16,000 feet fall.
Yo, that was ill.
How about y'all make a better phone?
And the screen didn't crack.
Come on.
16,000 feet.
Propaganda. Edward Bernays. Shout out to the PR team.
Yeah. For sure.
Boeing I would not touch though until let's give some value. Probably like $125 if it ever got back down there. It hasn't recovered from that drop in 2019.
Would you ever touch it though? I know you had that theory where you don't invest in anything with motors. Right.
Never ever.
Motors and engines are out of the question.
Can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been a massacre if it was a.
Oh yeah, it'd been a 50% fall.
No,
Easily.
if it was a if that plane was like going to like New Orleans or Ghana, if it was like black people on the plane, it would have been a massacre.
Yeah, it would have been a lot different.
At least 30 people would have died.
Just from.
Well, because everybody would have got up and ran to the back. I'm surprised that nobody got up. Like
the swag surfing in the back.
I
definitely would have stayed put. I swear to God, like
what black person do you know a plane door flies off and you're just going to sit still? No, you taking your seatbelt off and you're going to try to run to the back. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to run to the
mask on first. That would have went right out the window. I want to see stars on the roof of my car, not in the plane. That's not the vibe I'm going for. That's a different kind of experience, yo.
Yo, swag surfing is wild. Nah, we would. Yeah, them oxygen masks. We wouldn't trying to help people. It would have been bad. It would have been bad. Like, what do I do? Oh, yeah, that's that exit row seating, man. Yo, be careful. Be careful.
I'm glad that everyone made it, but a lot of the companies, listen, get the maintenance thing in order, build better quality.
Yeah, yeah, but they took it obviously affects the company. We were just talking about them coming back early December when we talked about Saudi Arabia ordering 89 of their jets, and then you get news like this, man. It's tough. So yeah, stay away.
Yeah, some sectors traditionally have always had troubles. Airlines have always been chaotic. Margins are tough. If you buy them like at all-time lows, you have a shot. But there's other companies you can buy that you can get better return off of easily. Automotive and airlines, I've always hated. Even if you go to like Druckenmiller, Buffett, they traditionally have not liked them either. So it's not just my personal opinion. I would stay away for sure.
So we're going to talk about Bitcoin, but we got to get to 4,000 first. So 4,000, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Hit the like button and share. What businesses are you most concerned about in 2024?
Listen, I'm gonna be when they put that report that Elon doing party powder in the Wall Street Journal,
little nose candy.
I'm worried about Tesla. I'm not gonna lie. I know Kathy picked up a bunch of shares. I still think Starlink probably is the most important IPO in this new environment, but it has to be tough for him to have 5 or 6 major projects that he's working on, however many kids he has, personal life. It seems like he's becoming a little bit unhinged. I was reading a report earlier. If you ever use Tesla, the price value of Tesla has gone down 18 straight months. So if I bought a Tesla 18 months ago, I'm underwater now. I don't know if y'all seen the Netflix movie, but them cars crashing into each other isn't the best sign either. I think he needs to dissolve some of the companies and just focus on Tesla and Starlink. I think he has too much on his plate. But when I was talking to Ty earlier, but anytime they began to put out public information that they knew before, very quickly, now here comes the smear campaign. We saw the same thing happen with Steve Jobs. We saw the attempt with Zuckerberg and Facebook, but Zuckerberg was smart enough to have enough class shares where he's never going to let that position go. I think a lot of truth is going to get revealed around him so they can try and take over his company. I've never heard allegations of a darling company and a darling CEO come out so quickly. Now, of course, he refuted them, but I don't think this information came from an outside source. I think it came from an inside source who may be trying to set up some kind of proxy fight or coup to be able to take over Tesla. But they have mismanaged the company a little bit the last year and a half. Sales are not as strong as they should be. The value of the cars are not being kept up. I'm most concerned about Tesla in 2024. It is still a pick of mine. I still have it in my portfolio. It's still a pick of Stock Club, but I need him to get his shit together.
He he said, whatever I'm taking, it's obviously working.
That's a crazy comeback.
And then
he sounds like Rick James.
Yeah, man, that nose candy.
What?
But he also said he's never tested positive for any drugs. And if drugs improved his productivity, he would definitely take them.
Well, I mean,
That's his quote.
If drugs was a deciding factor, if you could run a company and not, half the companies wouldn't have leadership.
A lot of booger sugar.
And
that's true.
Maybe America wouldn't have leadership.
Perhaps.
Who knows? But I mean, I don't, I think, look, Elon Musk is one of the most erratic people in the history of the world. And he's done a lot of things I don't agree with. But I feel like it's definitely a smear campaign. It's done strategically. He pissed a lot of people off. So, he has a lot of enemies.
Absolutely.
So,
Bob Iger getting his lick back right now. Pause.
Yeah.
As soon as this came out, I said, "Oh, Bob paid somebody on the inside to get the information out."
Yeah. Wall Street Journal. Who are they owned by?
Tell the people.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to the original question though, because I think we had this conversation in Ghana, and concerned is maybe not the word, but I'm a little worried about. Not too worried, but a little bit. And it's Apple. I know it's going to surprise a lot of people.
Let's talk.
Yeah, we should. Because we talk about the growth of Apple, and we talk about the dominance that the iPhone has on the revenue model for the company. We've seen the revenue go down for the iPhone over the past 4 or 5 quarters. It's looking like that'll be 6 quarters. They just announced that the Vision Pro is going to go into pre-order on the 19th of this month. And
that ain't it.
And people can start receiving them on February 2nd. I don't know if this is a revenue generator. And if it's a miss, I don't know what 2024 looks like for Apple. That doesn't mean that I don't love it long term. I do. I love it long term, 1,000%. I'm just talking about in 2024. My concern meter is it went off a little bit, only because if the Vision Pro isn't what people anticipated to be, which again, I don't think you and I are in agreement that we don't think this is going to be the revenue generator.
That's not it.
What will be the innovation in 2024 that sparks revenue, right? And changes that trajectory from having 5 negative quarters to 6 to 7. Because if we do 10, now you're talking about a negative year in sales for the iPhone. I don't think the iPhone 17 is going to change anything. So I am a little concerned about Apple in 2024.
For the first time in the history, I am too. I've been screaming forever, and when it's get clipped up, don't say none of my comments. But to the team at Apple, I need you guys to innovate. You can only operate better for so long. You do need innovation. Samsung's been kicking y'all ass in the phone department for at least 9 years. iPad, meh at best. Vision Pro, most people can't afford a $3,500 headset to watch YouPorn that they can watch on their laptop for free. We need common sense governance at some point. Maybe we've hit a bell curve issue where you can't innovate more, but they need better products, or they need to push more aggressively into healthcare. I think they should, if they're going to keep making a camera better. Price is pretty high on it, but I think at some point they should probably buy DJI, and they need to run an aggressive smear campaign on Disney so Disney can get down to a price point where they can buy all of Disney. But as far as the innovation on the phones, it's over with.
So
it's over with.
This is when I started thinking about this. Is this the year of acquisition? Right. So you said Disney, but I started thinking about who's their competitor, right? I know Microsoft, they do business together, but the reports are there, and every sign is pointing to it. Microsoft will pass it in market cap at some point over the next 12 to 16 months. It'll pass it, right?
Yeah.
Based solely on AI. But Microsoft acquired Activision to dominate gaming.
Mm-hmm.
What if Apple decided to acquire something maybe like an EA or something of that sort, where now we have a competitor in this space? We weren't dominating there. Now we have a player in there in terms of that space, but also in other forms of acquisition in the media standpoint. Some maybe the new NFL deal or new NBA contract, somewhere in acquisitions, because they have the capital to do it. Is that the new innovation?
They have to, because if they don't get Disney, it looks like Amazon is going to be the new cable TV over the next 5 or 10 years. So they have a big competitor there in terms of media. They also have a competitor, Amazon, in the healthcare space. They need a great acquisition in the healthcare space. But I'm surprised with all the fanfare around crypto, whatever Bitcoin project wallet project they were working on, I'm surprised that has not been released. That's been a mistake to not attack, because if they had a formidable opponent in that space, they would be able to bring people into the crypto space who normally would not travel there, because of like the legitimacy of the brand. But I know it's tough running a multi-trillion-dollar company that's way above my pay grade, but there has not been innovation on the phone in at least, it's 2024, probably 10, 11 years.
So your whole thing is two tech companies, right? And Apple and Microsoft, and then two indexes. So are you changing Apple out of your two tech?
Absolutely not. This is like when Tim Duncan came to the Spurs with David Robinson. Apple is David Robinson. Now they may have to take the back seat for a year and a half until they get it in order. Microsoft is going to be dominant. I'm not saying that I don't love the stock, but my thing is I always plan for disaster before it gets on my doorstep. So if they're not innovating, sales are sliding. Their sales are declining in China. So their market share shrank 2.5% to 15.1 billion. Yeah, it's still a lot of money, but my thing is if it gets down to 10 billion and they're not able to operate there, and if they don't pivot how Nvidia did to be able to do a deal with China, India won't offset the sales fast enough. And people, I don't know one person in the last 5 years who says, I want a new iPhone. At this point, I only get it for the camera, for content. If it wasn't for that, I would probably have, well, what's the Galaxy to flip out? That's the size of an iPad. Like Samsung has just been killing. Like sales have been down in the summer, declining revenue. So they have some things that they need to fix, but no, it's still, I'm not changing my formulation. And it's not out of ego. Even with all that said, Apple has still, as a $1 trillion company, is still producing 20% plus revenue, 20% plus gain year over year. I'm not leaving from it, but I think Microsoft will take the #1 spot in the next year and a half.
All right.
This is crazy. They have no, like, even on the Mac rumor and Apple rumor report sites, they don't even have a product that could be great. Like the Vision Pro isn't it.
Are you gonna get it? All right.
Apple, if you invite me to campus, I'll get one if we can do an interview there. But other than that, I have no plans.
I'll test it out for us. I'll have it right here on the episode.
Okay, I'll support you in that.
So, okay. All right. So literacy is extremely important. Katt Williams actually said he read 3,000 books a year when he was 10 years old.
You believe that?
When I heard him say that, it made me feel like how people feel when I say read 50 pages a day. What kind of books is he reading?
3,000 at 10?
I don't want no smoke, but come on, bro.
He also said that a well-known comedian could not read. So he's on both sides of the literacy conversation. But
that was a fact. What he said about education is a fact. Right? The most important job in the world is a teacher, but they're the least paid. So how do we expect the population to get smarter? He was on point with that. Some of the things he said were
he was on point with a lot.
And some of the things was okay. I'm glad he has a perspective.
Well, it is important to read.
Yeah.
So
gotta step my game up.
With that being said, what are some books that people need to be reading in 2024?
Oh man, you segue king. There's a couple that I have on my list for 2024. Hold on, let me find, because I wrote this list today. Where are we at? The Fun by Ray Dalio. The Unraveling of a Wall Street Legend. Number 2, Why Simple Wins. Number 3, Black Edge about SAC Capital. So Steve Cohen is one of the greatest traders of all time, but at one point in his career, he may have used some nefarious tactics to be able to get an edge in the market. So it shows you, if you watch Billions, you've seen the influence that show has had based off of Steve Cohen. And we'll talk about greed cycles and stuff like that later, but I think it shows when you try to push for an edge at all costs, there is a detriment or pushback. And to prevent a lot of you from getting caught up in scams and scam culture in 2024, read The Wizard of Lies about Bernie Madoff. I think if you study the greatest Ponzi of all time, you'll be able to figure out who is legit, who is not, and how to stop yourself from being caught up in a scam. Like if you ever go by the building that he operated out of, a Payless shoe store wouldn't operate out of that office. Like at one point in time, Bernie said he was placing more trades that was available on the exchange for options. So those are the 4 books: The Fund about Ray Dalio, Why Simple Wins; Black Edge about SEC Capital; and The Wizard of Lies about Bernard L. Madoff.
His office was actually a pretty nice office. I actually used to work down the street from his office, but his accountant's office,
shit show.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Ozzy. He said, "Who moved my cheese?" I always tell people that that's the book that they should start, just from a mindset standpoint. It's an amazing book. It's 87 pages, but you can really understand who you are in this world as far as mindset, as far as drive, just from an 87-page book. I'm gonna add one, Ian, because I'm about to finish it. It's Chaos Kings: How Wall Street Traders Make Billions in a New Age of Crisis by Scott Patterson, and it's really about during crisis, during economic downturn, how the rich get richer, how they wait for these moments and they prepare for these moments and they engage in these moments with intention, and they thrive. And so anytime that you hear recession or you hear pullback, there's a group of people that are just waiting for those words, and how we can, as retail investors, benefit from from that information. So it's a great book for anybody that is looking to say, all right, well, they're saying there's a recession in 2025 coming. Here's how I prepare for it. Here's how I take advantage of it.
Yeah. That's one of the most slept on books, I think, or newer books on investing and trading for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right. There's your reading list, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck. 50 pages a day.
3,000. We stepping it up. 3,000 pages a day. It's be ridiculous. If that's what's going viral, hey, 3,000 pages a day. Keep the brokenness away.
Do it. Do it.
For sure. Hit the like button and share. We will be talking about Bitcoin soon. But first, do you think the stock market will go up at least 20% this year?
Probability is low. 34% of the time, the market goes up 20% or more. So 2021, 2019, 2017, 2013, 2009 is went up. 1999 it went up. We'll have a good year. We'll end up positive. I think the S&P 500 should do 13 to 16%. So it'll be under that. I think, of course, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, semiconductors will definitely pace above 20%. But the more important lesson is, like, whenever the market does go up for the year, we normally cluster 2 to 3 years back to back. So we had a positive year this year. Biden wants to get reelected. He's going to make sure that the market doesn't fall on his term. Now, the year after, that's a different scenario. But I think we'll end up probably 13 to 16% on the S&P. I think the Qs will do maybe 25 to 28%. So I don't know if we'll go up 20%, but we'll be a little bit up under it for sure by end of year.
So you said QQQ will do 28%, you said?
Yeah, probably 28%.
For this year?
Yeah.
That's your prediction?
Yes, sir. And if I'm wrong, somebody can clip it up and use it.
All right.
If I made you money, please put yes in chat.
That's a good sign for the NASDAQ.
Yeah. Well, that is an asset. QQQ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So Ian's on record.
Better trip to Maui on it.
Hey, for the record, investing is not easy though.
If you see us in Maui, you know why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For the record, everybody shouldn't be talking about investing unless, teaching investing unless they are experts and financially free from investing. For the record.
Great record. It's a great record.
Off the record. Rashad, we can resume.
You're just not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop.
People had a lot to say until it's time to say what it needs to be said.
And we pray for them.
Yes.
Yeah. We pray for them.
All right. Well, staying along the lines of stock market.
Rashad, these one of them times that get on your nerves, ain't it? We talked about it in Ghana.
So good.
Can I get a number over under? Ty, how many times do you think I got on Rashad nerves the last 3 years? About 700, 600, 400. He like, bro, I'm asking you to stop. I'm done.
What sector do you think is overhyped in 2023 and will correct in 2024?
Honestly, I think the AI space is overhyped.
Ding, ding, ding.
And a large language model. From the startup perspective that got funding from either angels or VC, I think we've seen the best of breed so far. Of course, OpenAI dominant, Anthropic dominant, but I'm seeing every company saying that they are some kind of AI iteration to get funded, and I think we've seen the best of breed perform and get funding. Some, of course, will get acquired, but I think if a company is connecting itself, or a publicly traded company is connecting itself to a large language model to boost earnings or revenue, I don't think that's going to work in 2024. There needs to be a new innovation. I'm surprised Apple hasn't dove more into the large language models for Siri, or hasn't acquired something in that space, but I don't think it will have the same impact that it will in 2024 as it did in 2023. NVIDIA, of course, is going to do great. AMD will, of course, do great. They did great today as well. But if a company, let's say a healthcare company, is tying themselves to AI or LLMs for 2024, I think that boat has left the dock.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I said ding. I think that spot on. And I feel like it's been priced in, right? If AI is part of the business model, or it wasn't in 2023, it's been priced in until 2024, and so it's going to be those leaders that are going to continue to lead. We saw NVIDIA hit an all-time high today. They announced three new graphic cards. I mean, AMD was on fire today.
They're trying to fight back. Yep,
they're there, right? They're fine. Like, hey, we have a competitor that's going to be more affordable for your company. Great strategy. So those leaders are going to continue to lead. But the other companies that are trying to play catch up, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And you know, when people see a space like AI inside of the tech sector, it's like, this is our new way to make money. And a lot of times people get caught in that, and that's what happens when we hear the word bubble. Everybody tries to crowd in because there's money to be made. Not a lot of great products are made inside of that, but few will survive. And
Yeah.
right now, I think we know who the leaders at the forefront are going to be. So they'll continue to thrive. But I think you're spot on with AI being that sector.
Back to being on the same page.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, gather my thoughts, serenity, and zen.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's teamwork right there.
All right. So yeah, the moment that everybody's been waiting for. So Bitcoin is on fire right now, crossed over 47,000 today. So you know, everybody's back on the Bitcoin train, back on the crypto train. Talks to the ETF getting approved within the next week or so. So Bitcoin, crypto.
yes.
Will Bitcoin hit 100,000 this year? And what is the future for cryptocurrency in 2024?
Bitcoin community, I want no smoke. Crypto community, love y'all dearly. I have nothing bad to say. Will it hit 100 grand? I don't believe so, but I think it can have a case to push towards like 65,000 easily. The ETF case, I don't know if the ETFs will get approved by next week, but if they do, it'll be a strong push to the upside. So we're currently at like almost 47,000. So when I said to buy in at 29,000, 20,000, for the record, it was a good time to buy. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Continue to hold. But performance-wise, Bitcoin has beat everything on the stock market. Hold. I talked about this in Ghana. Hold everything for a 7 to 8 year period. You'll be good. If it can get through 61,000, and we want to, please write this down. You want a gradual increase. We don't want a 15% jump or a 12% jump. Like just a steady gain of 3 to 8%. It's great, because then you don't want a whole bunch of short sellers coming in, or people taking profit, or people getting too afraid. So if it's a smooth push to the upside, I think we can get into like the high 60s and be okay. 2025, we should clear 100 grand on Bitcoin though. So
do you think the appreciation as we've seen is attributed to the pending ETF approval?
Absolutely.
Wednesday it could happen, or is this another one of these? And we've seen this in the crypto space, especially with Bitcoin, where we've seen a price go up on speculation of news, and then that news doesn't happen, and then this process gets delayed for another 6 months, and you know, some of the whales start taking a little bit of the profit.
I think it's different, because for sure BlackRock is probably going to be like the preeminent player in the ETF space with the Bitcoin ETF. So it's going to come. This is a sure thing. Like, it wasn't like before when people were speculating if it was going to have value, or when JP Morgan was lying about buying it or saying it was of no value, then they were buying it in Europe. This is going to happen. So we're just waiting for the announcement. So if it's a sell-off, it'll be small, but I think anyone who's already in it, you should continue to hold. The next 5 or 6 years should be absolutely incredible. And the second most important thing, people want bigger returns. As much as flack I may have given Kathy when I was talking about her strategy and how they attacked it, one thing that she did make clear to the larger public is people don't want 7 to 12% returns. If you can get me 16 to 30%, great. And depending on when you can get into Bitcoin, you can get that in a week or a month. So I think you should definitely hold on to this. And if you look from that run from 2020, when there's that $5,000 and some change, if you've held from then to be up almost 10x is amazing. So continue to hold for the long term. But this is a sure bet for sure. And I wonder how much pressure this is going to put in the reallocation of the S&P 500 to perform even better if this ETF gets approved. Because if I have to pick between, let's say I have 15 grand to put into an ETF, would I rather put it in a SPY or a Bitcoin ETF? The outflows of S&P could be higher than we expect and go into the Bitcoin ETF because we want a higher multiple. And we'll finally have some safety in terms of like certain pockets where institutions will buy to keep support levels pretty high. So I'm interested to see how that war plays out over the next 2 or 3 years.
So BlackRock, Spider, they could all potentially have their own Bitcoin ETFs.
But it's the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of money is going to flow into 20. Then you have the 95-5 rule. BlackRock, JP Morgan, State Street, the big players are going to be the ones who end up with the majority of money under management with this ETF. So,
okay.
Yep. Hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
Investing is easy, man. If you hold for the long term and stop, number one rule, please write this down in 2024, stop deviating for the next decade.
Yeah. I wonder where people are even now with all the confusion in 2023 with cryptocurrency platforms. Coinbase is still the safest, right? Are people still using Binance, or there's all these other these sources? I wonder what now, especially what we're seeing with Bitcoin's going, as people are trying to get reallocated with that space. Is the influx? I'd have to look into it. Is the influx going to Coinbase, or is it going to another platform? Be interesting to see.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Apple, if you need an idea of something to infiltrate.
Yeah. Somebody's got to make the money.
Absolutely.
All right.
But for everyone in the comments, do you think Bitcoin will go to 100,000 this year, or will it be 2025?
What was the best breakthrough product in 2023?
Oh, Rashad, I think we hands down agree. Chat GPT, hands down. My favorite product when I started using it yet last year. I've told a story like it helped me replace 11 people. And it's also made me get better at content creation, how I thought about trading, back testing certain things. Hands down, I think that was the most efficient product that I've seen created in the last 15 years. And has to be the best product breakthrough of 2023 because it started the wave of innovation for mass efficiency. It's probably the app that I end up using the most. So that was my best product of 2023.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. All right, let's change it up a little bit. So let's talk about the top 15 asset classes returns since 2011.
The image didn't come out good, so let's skip that one until next week.
Okay. How about any of the images?
Yeah.
Nope.
You want to?
Well, you have one that works, Troy?
We can go over some tickers if you want, but
yeah, let's do that.
You want to go with some tickers? Let's go take it back to the old school. All right, let's do it. Let's get some pens and papers out. Let's do that.
I want to be messy so bad, but you won't let me. Go ahead.
All right, where we starting at, Ian? So we're gonna go over how many? 15? Can we get 15 in there?
If you want to.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. All right, first ticker. Ian, you're gonna give us your thoughts on it. INTC.
Intel I like at $38 if you want to swing trade it. They have a bunch of competition. But if you look at if you go to the max chart, let's go max chart real quick. That high of 74.88 was back in the day. So whenever we have a stock that has a precipitous decline like that, I'm really not favorable upon it unless it hits an all-time low to want to leg in. Also, when I'm looking at a space, can we put in chat, in terms of the chip space, what does Intel rank? So ideally, I want to go with the top two. But if they got back down to that low of maybe like, I don't know, $30 or $29, I may want to take a position in. I still don't like a long term. I know some of the innovations that they're working on, but I think AMD, NVIDIA, Taiwan Semiconductor, our ASML are much better. So for me, they're fifth at best. But when you see, so when I'm looking at a chart, the number one thing I do is as I go back since inception, and I want to see a gradual hockey stick increase in the stock price. When I have a price that falls apart like that, it's usually not a good sign. I know they had a good day today, but long term, I don't love it. But those are the prices I would buy it if I had to. I'll put it in my portfolio.
All right, so we got Intel. Let's go to the next one. We got Visa. Let's check out Visa. Interesting enough, when we were in,
so for people that's just watching Market Mondays for the first time, so what we're watching with this chart right here, can you go back to that?
I got you.
Yeah.
So this is you never want to traditionally invest in companies like this, right? Because it went up and then it came back down, right? So its best days are in the past. Now, could it potentially go back up again? Yeah, but it doesn't show upward trajectory from a pure elementary standpoint. You're looking at a chart where the next chart, if you go to the next chart,
let's pull up Visa. Got you. Ticker V.
Incredible.
I'm gonna go max out on it so that people can really clearly see it.
So this is more what you would like to see, right? Ian, where it starts.
Absolutely.
It starts low, and then over the course of time, it continuously goes up, right?
Yeah, I always say you want the long-term chart for any stock to look like what you want your bank account to be. Like, I don't like if my account goes up and down, up and down. I want to see a gradual incline, and then you want to buy it on a pullback. So if Visa pulls back 10%, also like the debt that we have is higher than ever. So if you want to be able, I know you guys have an episode on credit tomorrow. Check that out. But if you want to be able to take advantage of how much debt that the average American has, Visa is one way to do so, for sure, and safely. That I like them and American Express, but if I had to just pick one, I would probably lean on Visa, and that's not because we ran into the CEO at
ran into the CEO, but we also ran into their sponsorship all over Accra. And so we talk about global brands. This is definitely one, and you can see they're leaders in this space. You have them, you have MasterCard, you have American Express, but you can see since the inception just the growth of the company. And for those who are new to looking at a chart, there are lines, and I know it looks like it could be confusing, but these are just moving averages. So we have the 50-day moving average, 72-day, Ian, I know that's one that you like to use, the 100-day,
one of my favorites,
200-day, and then these orange lines are Bollinger Bands. They kind of give a deviation of the highs and the lows of that moving average in itself. And then at the bottom down here, we see this purple line. This is your RSI. Ian, I know you don't like RSI, but some people we just put it there so people can see it. And that tells if a stock or an equity has been sold, oversold or undersold. And so when you see the line at 20, usually indicates oversold, and when you see above 80, undersold, and when you see it above 80, it's oversold.
My favorite thing is when I get a chance to do in-person market research. So we was in DC. I asked him, like, hey, how do you think the economy is going to be? And he said, I don't know. But when you looked at his temperament, did he look happy or did he look worried? He was probably the most joyous person we saw in that hallway.
I didn't feel worry in his voice
at all. So I've been a fan of Visa for a long time. As a stock, I would say they are probably going to have a good 2024 and 2025 for sure. So shout out to him.
Let's go to one of these other giants in the consumer staples. Johnson & Johnson, ticker J&J, Johnson & Johnson.
They performed incredibly well. I don't like the stock for of course, the number of reasons that most of us in the community will not, but the stock has performed well. I still like Eli Lilly a lot more, but you cannot deny the power of their stock. If I swing traded, if I get around 147, I wouldn't be mad. Long term, I would not touch it. But if you look at the growth of the company, decade over decade, year over year, they have done incredibly well. They are in a space that really matters, that is almost recession proof. So yeah, J&J is a company I like. If I can get it at 136, I would love it if I had to buy it. I know it probably won't fall that far, so you may have to grab it in like the 140s and hold it for a long-term period. But back in 2001, it was at 51 bucks. It's at 161 now. So the stock has done incredibly well, and it does have that growth that I like to see when I'm looking at the all-time or its since inception chart.
These are just stalwarts on the market. J&J is one of them. We just spoke about Visa, and I mentioned that the three that dominate that space are Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. So let's pull up American Express, ticker AXP. Let's look at the chart.
Incredible. You guys should go look at the origins of American Express, how it was founded, why it was founded. I think that story is really interesting. Great client base. They may slide down if we do have an actual recession, and they announced that, but that's always a really great time to buy American Express. In 2000 when they dipped, great buy-in time. 2008 was a great buy-in time, and then 2020 was a great buy-in time. But for the most part, like I said, with the debt that we have, I think we're at 17.3 trillion in credit card debt. American Express is great, and if I compare Visa and American Express as like a soft index, if you will, like a credit card index play, that's a good one too. Those are two great ones to invest in.
Yeah, and then we spoke about it in 2021 about their expansion into the number 2 economy in the world in China, and we've seen nothing but great returns on that. So they were trading around 97 at that time, and you can see that they climbed all the way up to nearly $200 a share. So great growth in American Express, another global company like Visa in the payment processing center.
But American Express not really global though. Most places in the world don't accept American Express. MasterCard and Visa is accepted everywhere.
But that doesn't mean it's not global.
It's a global company, but it's not.
It's not as widely accepted.
Not even close.
Yeah, but it's global.
Yeah, it's a global.
But it has a higher end customer, so it offsets like.
So that's the other part
that MasterCard may have.
Yeah, and that was very intentional on their part about going into China, because they looked at the economy, and they looked at obviously the amount of wealth, the amount of billionaires inside of that country, and its expenditures, and so they high price items sell well there, and so this is a market that they look to go into, and it's been a good expenditure for them over the past 2 years. Let's go to another one, Ian. We're going to go to a different sector. We're going to go to Exxon Mobil. All right, so ticker XOM.
Great year last year. The stock, of course, took a dip in 2020, had a great rise, but I'm not the biggest fan of petrol companies or gas companies for the most part. If I had to pick one, it would be it. But I don't think they'll have as great of a year as they did last year. But if I had to pick one in that space, it would definitely be ExxonMobil. I think you can get better returns elsewhere. If it dives deep again like it did in 2020 or 2019, it'll be a good time to buy. But overall, great company. But if you're looking at sustainability, environmental considerations, I wouldn't invest in ExxonMobil. But the chart does look amazing long term.
Those look like a good chart. Let's move into the healthcare sector. I know we talk about Eli Lilly a lot. We've talked about Pfizer earlier and Moderna. Let's talk about Amgen. Ticker AMGN.
Amgen is another one that is, I think, outside of tech, healthcare is the most important space in America for sure in the stock market. This is reflective of that. If you look at that growth since 2009, 2008, at the time it was around 51 bucks. It's currently at 310. Not many people that invest in Amgen have many deep concerns. It doesn't draw down a whole lot. I think the max drawdown on it is like 21%. But if you look at the time when it's grown from, even if I go to 2020, it was at 237. It's at 310 now. very stable. Definitely, if you're doing like options trading has risk, please consult your advisor or your swing trader. You can get a great bang for your buck. The healthcare space is definitely the second most important, and if tech wasn't here, it would be number one. So Amgen is a strong company, especially if you pair it with like an Eli Lilly.
All right, we're going to my favorite sector now. Kind of a sleeper inside of that. We always talk about NVIDIA. We talk about AMD. We spoke about ASML. Let's talk about Applied Materials, ticker AMAT.
Yep. Like it a lot, man. Look at that growth from 2016 when it was, or 2019 when it was at $38. It's at 151 now. And if I can share one secret, because a lot of people ask me about charting. If you just go look since the beginning of the business, if you hit the all or max available data, that alone would tell you. Because if they have more capital, bigger market cap, in times like this, they may expand through acquisition. The biggest companies on earth are going to continue to get bigger. And I want you guys in 2024, going into this fourth season of the show, to focus on the things that are going to make you rich and not gamble. So Applied Materials I like a lot. If it ever falls back to like 117, that would be a good place to get in for a swing trade if you're trading it, or to get a position in your portfolio for long term. But they are a sleeper that not many people talk about. And I like this one a lot.
I'm gonna give you two more. Let's go to ticker BSX, Boston Scientific Corporation. BSX.
Another sleeper. And this is the power of like long-term holding. I know it's not the sexiest thing, like reading 3,000 books a day, like Katt Williams would do. But in 2012, it was at $5.54. It's currently at 58. The biggest criticism I probably get is that all the stocks that I talk about are blue chip. They're over $100, $150. This one is still in the 50s. But if you look a couple years ago, it had dipped down to about like $32. So if you need an inexpensive one that does pretty well, Boston Scientific is a pretty good company to put on your watch list.
All right, we're gonna do our last one. We're going to banking. Let's do Capital One, COF.
Surprisingly, financials recovered pretty well despite the regional bank stuff. I'll probably invest in JP Morgan first over them. If I had to look at some of the exposure that Capital One has, I would definitely lean on Visa and American Express first. But they've done pretty well. In 2020, they were at $68. They're currently at 133. Of course, they fell apart in 2007 when the rest of the market did. But overall, Capital One has done pretty well. I will put them on your watch list. If they ever got down to $86 or $92.33, I would want to buy in then and hold for like a 4 or 5 year period.
Gotcha. Okay. And it's about to be earnings reports soon for the financials. I think in the next week or two, we're going to start seeing some of the earnings. So we'll see how the fourth quarter fared for some of these financial firms. Definitely.
For sure. Very useful information. On the chart side, Ian, I wanted to talk to you about something you went viral. Shout out to Spiritual Word.
Oh my God. Shout out to the good folks over there.
Well, you said 100 to 200,000 is no real money. You would you won't feel secure until you have 600,000 to $1 million tucked away. What does this mean? And why do you think that was so triggering for a lot of people? And can you explain what you meant by that?
I'm not trying to be a villain no more in 2024. Mike, put us back in screen. I need some good favors when they go to Davos. We're a team. Okay. My job is to tell the truth no matter what. So like, I know some people got bothered by it, and every time I post this, people get upset. But the truth is, like, if you're taking care of people, like, and if we just look at elderly care, if you ever had a family member that had assisted living that was an elder, for those of you who don't know, it ranges from $6,000 a month to $20,000 a month, right? If you have a kid that goes to college, those expenses are there. And especially, I feel like as soon as we began to invest in real estate, crypto, stock market, we began to have these conversations at scale, all of a sudden inflation ramped up to a level that we could not keep up with. So my job as a truth teller is, even if it's not the popular thing to say, I would rather you know how much money that you need to have in order to feel secure, opposed to, and some of you told me this, hey, as soon as I got to 100 grand saved, now the value of my dollars dropped, and the 100 grand doesn't feel, or the 50 grand or the 20 grand doesn't feel like that. So I don't, maybe people get triggered by it because it feels like as soon as you make headway, they change the rules. But this is why it's important for us to have these conversations on a weekly, for you guys to invest every week, every month. So we know the rules are going to change for us, but I would rather us be prepared about what things really cost. Once again, Ross told you in an interview on AOL, if he had how much money, he would be terrified.
10
million, he would be worried.
Yeah. I'm
so
be
the
honest.
Conversations that we get to have privately,
Yeah.
I'm just reporting the information back to you. And also telling you, like, for some people, I also know when they made their first 100 grand, I've had people tell me like, yo, I thought this would feel like a lot more. And it's not. So if you're actually taking care of your family, taking care of your kids, you're looking out for other friends, loaning friends out money when they need it, 100 grand isn't what it used to be. It's my last one, I swear to God.
But is it, I'm gonna be honest, when I read that, I initially thought somebody making 100 to 200,000. I'm like, oh, all right, is that no real money? Okay. And then now that you're saying that's saved, would you say that making or saving that first 100,000 is the hardest?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's the most challenging.
Yeah.
10 grand. And then after the leap from 10 to 100,
like one of the hardest
things. The hardest leap that you have to make. Yeah. But as a man, if you have family, you have children, you have to be able to get to a place where your family has some security. And it takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. And I would rather tell you that. And if prices of homes have went up, like, there's no new cars available for under 40 grand. Regular cars are now 40 grand. So if homes are increasing, price of chips are increasing, price of college tuition is increasing, what do you want me to do? Lie to you? I'm sorry. It's jarring to me. So even where I'm at now, the conversations that we get to have, it's like, yo, if you don't get to 100 in your lifetime or 200 million in your lifetime, you wasted your talent. Oh, this, you the greatest investor. Sound good. How fast you gonna get to 100 to be able to help other people? I'm having these tough conversations too with people that I'm learning from and people in my circle. Like, and as soon as we begin to have these conversations, yes, it's jarring, but I would rather tell you what you need to do to be able to be financially free and provide some security to you and your family and your business. Because you may have to help out other people. You may have to help other people in other businesses. You never know. I know a lot of times on IG, it looks like everybody rich as hell. I'm going to be honest with you. Most people are not. Most people are struggling. So,
yeah. I'm just saying that because I've been there before. I know what that feeling is like to get to that first 10,000. It's like, oh, can you do it? But it really was a mindset thing, right? Like I'm changing my zero every time, right? It was like, if I can save 5,000, now 5,000 is my zero. If I get to 5, I can't touch it, right? Then it becomes 10. If I get 10,000 in the account, I'm at 0. I can't touch it. And you just keep with that financial discipline.
But when you pushing,
when you get to that 100, it's like, okay, I've actually done something here. I've done something that the average person hasn't done, which says that I have a certain level of financial discipline, but it also says that I'm willing to sacrifice at a certain level to get here. Now, what do I do here? Is the 100,000 my new 0, right? And so you can build from that. Plus, you're able to take more, not chances, but you have capital to now invest. Now help that money grow. And so it changes. The 100,000, again, it's the hardest thing to do, but it opens the door for opportunities to now grow that 100,000.
Yeah. And when I made my first 100 grand, you know what I didn't do? I ain't buy no Balenciaga. I ain't buy no rims. I didn't. Got right back to even Shannon Sharp. When, despite the number, 30 million in 4 days, he got right back up. This is we were talking about in Ghana, right? Just getting up and going to work every day. A lot of luck happens just doing things that you're supposed to do, even when you don't want to do them. So even after that blockbuster interview that he had, he was on air this morning. So when you get to that next level, your job is to continue doing what got you there, and then even be more efficient. Put more money into the market, invest in more businesses. You have to be more diligent, because now this is the tough part, for those you are trying to get to 100. Now everyone has a thing for you to invest in, or a way to pry money out of you. You have to be an even better steward of the money as you grow. But that's the fun part of the game, is to put together a blueprint, a plan, a playbook, and stick to it so you can provide for your family. If I made you money, please put yes in chat.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie to you. It may not be popular what I say, but I'm not gonna lie to you.
So is it recommendable to put 50 to 67% of your net worth into Magnificent Seven stocks?
Yeah, I got this question on Twitter. I thought it was fascinating. I would say no, but it also depends on the prices in which you buy them. Like if you're dollar cost averaging, I would not. But if I can get them at low to boat prices or close enough to, I would. I mean, I'm personally only leaning, like if I have to just pick 3 for sure, like Apple, Microsoft, Lilly. If I had to bet every dollar, I would disperse a third accordingly. There's some other great companies in the Magnificent Seven, but I wouldn't bet my life on all of them for sure. But everything depends on the price that you pay for it. That's the real thing that matters. So that's why when I'm telling you guys use a 72-day moving average, 200-day moving average, if you want to use that to get in, the price in which you pay for the asset matters a hell of a lot.
50. What percentage would you say you would do, right? Because if I'm listening to everything tonight and I'm sitting on my couch, I'm taking my notes, I'm hearing the NASDAQ is going to move up by 20%, and I got this 100,000, and I know we got some room to grow here. What percentage would you say is responsible to allocate?
25, 25, 25, 25. VOO, VTI, Apple, Microsoft. 25, 25, 20. I'm not changing my stance. Y'all can ask me to remix the audience as much as you want to. The great part about something that works is that until it's broken, there's no need to deviate from it. So I would do a quarter.
All right. So is this the year of MicroCaps?
I don't think so. After the S&P 500 has growth, usually the Qs have growth. Then you can look at the Russell 2000, Russell 1000. I know the appeal of the microcaps is to look at companies that don't have as much value. We'll talk about the makeup and cosmetic space a little bit later, but be very careful when you're looking at microcaps if they have not grown or if they have not delivered on every promise that they promised to make, because if a microcap eventually will get acquired or grow into a macro cap. So I don't know if it's going to be the year of the microcap, but when I look at some like PKE, ABUS, PAC, ticker symbol ORGO, they haven't grown enough for the reward to be great enough for the risk. If I was able to get 400 or 500% return, if it drew down 70% or 60%, based on a ratio, I'll be willing to take it. But some of these have not grown fast enough for me to put any capital there. And a lot of times I know we want to buy companies that are cheaper just because we may not have enough money, but it sucks to put let's say you put your last $5,000 into a stock, and like PKE, which is a Park Aerospace, and went from $29, and then a few years later went down to, it's currently at $14 and has no prospects of going back up to $30 anytime soon. So be very careful. Now, if you're swing trading it, that's a different game. If you're day trading, that's a different game. But long term, no, I wouldn't lean on micro caps for my greatest game.
But at some point, they're going to have their day. At some point, right? Like if the Magnificent Seven, and we can add a few more others in there, they've pushed the market, right? In 2023, they'll probably push it again in 2024. At some point, those will start to consolidate. And these smaller microcaps, they'll have their day at some point. But what type of environment would it need to be for those to actually, have that 20 to 25%, maybe 100% run up? Is it consolidation from the mega caps, or what type of environment do you see that would make it adequate to look at those?
A 0 or like 1% interest rate environment.
Okay.
We have to get back to the mania days of plug, AMC, GameStop. And I know there's a narrative like I don't want anyone to but me to make the monster call of the year and all that shit. That's not true. Like I just want people to be safe. Like if you are going to get like if you look at the ticker ORGO, it's currently at $4.40. And at one point it got up to $150 in 2018. And it's at $4.40 at the moment. You may want to take a swing at it at $2. It's probably not going to go back up to 250. So you need a low interest rate environment. You need a lot of hype, which hype is not a recipe that I'm looking for in my investing formula. It has to be great fundamentals, technicals that have to match up. The Vanguard and BlackRock are buying in. You need big institutional buyers to make a stock go up. But like, if you look at some of these that get talked about in a microcap space, the business is not strong enough to risk putting your money there. And my thing always, like, if I wouldn't put my life on the line or my child's life on the line for the asset, I shouldn't invest in it.
Okay. Yeah. And Dante, we got you. A microcap is, think of the market as a big ocean, right? There's big fish and then there's little fish. There's Nemo.
Little fish.
And so microcaps are like the Nemos. So I think their market cap is anywhere between 250 to 300 million. So small company in terms of the big picture.
It's a great question.
50 million to 300 million.
50 to 300. Okay.
For microcaps.
I don't want Drake to have more money than the stocks I'm investing in. Shout out to the boy.
Rule of thumb.
Like, you can trade it or swing trade it, but like rappers shouldn't have more money than the stock or company that you're investing in.
Yeah. But there's also the smaller the company, the more potential that it has to go up or go down. It's a lot easier. It's like a speedboat as opposed to a cruise ship. Like, you know, a speedboat can turn directions within a minute. What a cruise ship, it takes all day to make a 360 turn. So a company like Amazon is such a huge company that, you know, good news is not going to quadruple its stock price overnight. But a small company, if, you know, they hit a lick, then they can potentially go crazy. So it's a lot more volatile, but it's a lot of upside potential if you get a small company that actually ends up hitting a home run.
You have a thing called the eye test. If the average person is looking at a micro cap, just ask 5 or 10 people about it and say, what do you think of the company? And if a person doesn't know what the company is, it's a great chance that you shouldn't be investing in it. Also, Vanguard is a Coast Guard too. Like the other part of investing that we don't talk about enough, and I don't know if we should tonight, going back to that inner circle that Katt was kind of talking about, there's a little cabal in the investing in the stock market world too. That's why I say if it's not on BlackRock or Vanguard's list, at that point you're gambling.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. You can say, well, that's because you guys sold your soul and all. I hear you, fam. If you want to take your last of 9,000 and put it into OTLY with somebody who can't trade for a living, have at it.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. Even traders and investors that don't like each other, there's a consensus on all the bad stocks. Anybody who if we can look at OTLY, especially if it's like an OTC over-the-counter pink sheet stock, at one point in 2021, it was at $24. It's currently at $1.25. There's a reason it's at $1.25.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Vanguard, they're in the business of making money, and so if they see an opportunity to invest in a company that can help them make money,
that was one of my favorite quotes you tried. I'm gonna stop. That was one of my favorite quotes, though.
They're gonna do their due diligence.
What was
you
that?
think I don't like making money?
Oh,
that Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, all the big boys. That's the mantra. If they're not investing in certain, there's a reason why. If they're not even consideration for Vanguard to buy them, there's a reason why. And I'm not a shill for Vanguard for all of y'all who say that. But if I can get that meeting, boy,
overdue.
Yes. So ELF is a beauty company.
Yes.
And its stock tripled. Went from $50 to $150 over the last year. You're invested in ELF?
Yes, one of my babies.
So what made you invest in ELF?
Well, two things. There are certain markets that just have like a fanatical buy-in cycle. So the cosmetic space is one of them. Like it's one of the areas I think enough people don't talk about because they don't consider it like a real business for whatever reason. But if you look at Estee Lauder, Ulta, Shiseido, there's a bunch of players in that space that have a big enough market cap to consider. But I think ELF is like an affordable has an affordable price point for most people. And then also like my favorite thing to do is like when I'm looking at something, I want to go see how it's moving on the shelves. For those of you know, like Ulta, great stock, ELF, great stock. When I would go into Sephora, I ask them a little questions like, hey, what's moving? ELF came up in consideration a lot. So look at the margins got better, great team. Another thing that we talked about a lot last year, like the management, I don't hear them in any controversy. For the most part, their management just focuses really on the business. There's not a lot of outside conjecture about what they're doing. So it's a great sign of focus. So COTY, I don't like. ELF, I love. Estee Lauder as a stock, I don't love. Revlon died. But Ulta and ELF are the two that I like in the cosmetic space. My strategy always in going into a sector, I'm looking for two to invest in, ideally the top two. But ELF, I think, has a strong enough fan base where the consumer keeps buying over and over again to make it a good investment to be in.
Yeah, I'm looking at our notes, and this is February 5th, 2023. We got our notes, and we stocks that people should put on their watch list.
Yep.
ELF was on it. So we're talking about nearly a year ago. At that time, it was trading at $70. It is now at $150. So we're talking about over 100% increase on the stock, let alone if you traded futures or you did options on it. The stock alone has gone up.
Yeah, over options have to be crazy.
Over 100% just by listening to the information on a Monday night. Incredible. Good call. Great call.
And listen, if I'm about some setting spray, anyway, I might as well get some. Hey, baby, how you doing? But listen, hey, them little Sephora trips get to adding up. So I'm like, let me offset some of these costs. So, but it's a good thing. One of my favorite strategies always too is to ask women what they think of a brand. That's always a great indicator. Like if the margins are great, if the operating margins are great, EBITDA is great. To see what the fan base and the buying cycles are. I think it's a hidden gem that not many people are talking about.
So if you had $20,000 today to invest, what would you do?
I'm gonna let you answer for me. What two would I invest in?
Apple and Microsoft.
Big facts. Listen.
Split it.
What my boy saying, Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not going nowhere.
My leader.
You got to stay with the ones that are working. I thought it was a great question, but regardless if it's 20,000, 200,000, 2 million, 20 million, 200 million, the strategy for me is going to be the same.
You put it in them individually, and then you're going to do two indexes, obviously?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's like me asking, how many episodes y'all going to put out on a Tuesday? Until y'all walk away. Every Tuesday, something coming out. Every Monday, we are going to be here. And the great thing, so I've been investing for a long time. Like even I was looking back at some of my notes from 2013. I'm like, man, look how far I've come. Like I look back now and I'm like, damn, I should have borrowed money. Like I don't agree with that bullshit Kiyosaki said about it. I owe 1.2 billion and it's the bank's fault if they go. Okay, I hear you. Because Wells Fargo will come put you under the ground. So I hope you didn't borrow your money from them.
They're gonna want that money.
Big facts. But when looking back, I'm like, damn, I should have borrowed a certain amount of money at a certain interest rate percentage, and knowing that I could have offset those gains and paid the loan. But so there's always revisionist history. But I think the biggest thing we have to focus on is number of shares equals how fast we get to having a high net worth. Like a lot of times we'll have a stock that we believe in, but we'll put more money into our bills than we will the investments that are going to take care of us long term. And I think that's a huge mistake. But that's propaganda, just like the Africans don't like African Americans. And anything that's like positive for us, they have propaganda to offset it. And I want us to dispel a lot of these myths so we can get rich together in 2024 and 2025.
It's important. Yeah, I mean the 20,000 thing. I only asked because, I mean, Indexes are great. ETFs as well. Just being in that similar position, I remember being and having a certain amount of money and saying, all right, I'm going to get shares of Apple, but I'm also going to get XLK to ETF because Apple's inside of it. And the allocation changes. I'm looking at it right now. Microsoft is actually leading the ETF. And that's new because Apple has been the leader inside of that as far as percentage for the past 3 to 4 years. But obviously with, the innovation that inside of AI and Microsoft being at the head of it with the acquisition of OpenAI, it's changed. And so not having all the exposure, still having Microsoft and Apple as a leader of an ETF at 43%, still a safe play. Still a safe play.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's a great part about ETF and indexes. If something goes wrong in the allocation, they'll fix it for you.
Exactly.
There's nothing to think about. I keep saying it's like an all-star team. Like if Devin Booker isn't playing well, they're gonna sub him out and Steph's gonna come in. Like you don't have to worry about much. I know sometimes we want to know so much information so we can talk about it amongst each other. And it's great to learn. But even like the American education system has been broken for a long time and it was paid for by the Rockefeller family. The modern American education system was paid for. And a lot of time there's a lot of disinformation to keep us from getting to where we need to be. The most important thing is to buy the best companies on earth, so we can generate wealth if that's the true goal that we're going after. And someone also asked me, is it possible to invest in companies that basically are not doing nefarious business at some point? It's impossible to get to that scale. Once you get to the 500, 300 billion, there's some travesty or something wrong that is being done. That's why I let at the top of the show, all the mining that's being done in the Congo by some of our favorite companies, like that has to be addressed and has to be talked about. So maybe we can say that for another episode and we can have Shaka on and have those conversations. But the mining that's been going on in the Congo for the last however many years is something that we need to talk about. But there are no clean companies across the board. I wish there were, but.
So would you invest in Microsoft or Apple? If you had
Both.
to choose one. If you had to choose one.
For the first time in history, I'm gonna say Microsoft. Satya is a better CEO, in my opinion, right now than Tim Cook. For those of you who work at Apple corporate, I hope I don't end up in the email chain again. But Microsoft is just a better company, and I think the partnership with OpenAI, they are continuing to forge a path into the future. And let's talk about it. If we're going to be honest, they have a stranglehold on the enterprise sector, and Apple doesn't have as strong of a foot in that space. I think that space is a little bit more valuable. And for the first time in a long time, Microsoft has innovated a lot faster than Apple. I never thought I would say that. I never thought. And of course, I know there's been innovations in iOS and all that, but innovation that we can feel, I don't feel that the 14 or the 15 is dramatically different than the 12 or 11. That's just the bottom line truth. Now, if they can fix that, 6 trillion market cap. But until then,
they can fix that, or they could shock us all and have something in the works in the AI field that nobody saw coming. That could also happen. It could. And we can revisit the question. Nigel, shout out to Nigel. He's in the chat. He said, "Who's the Magnificent Seven?" They are Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Meta, formerly Facebook. Yes. Those are the Magnificent Seven. I did the homework for you. There you go.
Elon got to get off that party powder, though. I said, damn.
It works.
That boy, he got Adderall powder. Boy.
He doing,
come on, Elon.
He's doing something different.
Stop. I feel like Katt Williams, you gonna do this right in front of me? Like, dang, okay. Got you.
To the moon.
Literally.
Spaceship.
Calling me. I'm in a zone.
Yeah.
Geeked up. Shafabo.
Ski.
Man.
Hitting the ski slopes. Hit the like button.
That's funny.
And share.
Can I get one? Ian, can I get one?
Yes.
This is interesting. What were you most wrong about last year?
I don't know. What was I wrong about? What they clip up? Whatever they put in the clip, I don't know. I don't remember what I was most wrong about.
Square probably would be the biggest. Right?
That was year before last.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's why I started thinking about. I wear it on my jacket proudly. I did a little self-reflection on that one when I saw the question pop, and I'm like, I'm not sure if it's maybe for 2023 it was wrong, but I still like the long term, and that was TSM.
Yeah.
It didn't have the year I thought it would. It didn't have a negative year. I think it was up maybe 2%, but I thought it would have a better performance based on the climate. But again, geopolitical factors are still prevalent inside of that company. But I'm still holding long term. And so while it's been consolidating around the $95 to $100 range, I've been adding more shares because I just believe in the company and the use case that it has, not just for like America, but for the world.
Yeah.
So it could reverse and something could happen and that could change. So it hasn't been a home run. It's been a bunt. I bunted this one. I bunted this.
I think I said Apple was going to come out with a wallet. I was wrong about that, or they haven't released it yet. So,
Meta.
Meta.
That was the okay. That was that was year before last too.
So that was 2022 at November 2022, going into 23. So I guess
and they changed the name from Facebook to. What am I posting? I want y'all to go grab the post. The death of Facebook begins today. They changed the name, and then the metaverse thing didn't work.
Very clever. Very clever. Yeah. Meta.
And then went to Facebook. Regardless of what people say, going back to Katt being the truth teller. Like when you tell truth, but also have a solution.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody at HQ, everybody at the Hudson office and all.
Pleasantly surprised by Meta. Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, but if I was wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong about that. Shout out to Zuckerberg. But it caught some waves though.
Definitely caught a few.
It caught a few waves.
Yeah, they drown out the rest. The average percentage. It's all about the percentages.
Yeah, NVIDIA how much since, and I was on it before any analyst was calling that.
I could show y'all some screenshots so y'all could believe it. Yeah.
So yeah, and Square making a comeback. Jack got to get off the party powder too. I said, "Oh, this running rampant, boy." I didn't know all these people was using Adderall powder like that. Man.
Allegedly.
Alleged. Thank you. Allegedly.
Somebody
could be watching. This is all alleged.
And just jokes written by 85 South. Yep.
These ain't mine. These ain't mine.
Yep. That's funny. These ain't mine.
These ain't mine.
Speaking about jokes, what are some takeaways from this Katt Williams interview?
I want y'all to lead with that. Well, my biggest one. Okay, I'll say this. The manifestation parts I liked a lot, for sure. So when he said, "Yo, I'm one of the richest people on earth. Whatever I want, I can have it if I put my mind to," I think that was incredibly powerful. The parts that he talked about consistently getting better at his craft. I think the business lessons in 100-city tour that he finances. That's our model. Love that talk. We'll get to the spicy stuff later, but the business lessons I pulled out of it and how giving he is. Helping comedians behind the scenes. Bootsy even said when he first got out of jail, Katt just gave him $15,000, invited him to a show. So the giving part was touching, and some of the more sentimental parts about him coming from a broken home, and you can still see some of that pain there. I think that's why he has so many children now, and he's trying to make sure those kids don't go through the same troubles that he went through. It was a lot of salacious stuff in there, but those parts that I picked out that had the most impact on me. And also too, I put this on Twitter, but like certain people, when they just come on a platform, they just dominate out the gate. I think that's a skill set. Umar does it. Budjanisa has done it when she's been on the platform. Like you ask Budjanisa one question, she'll answer 15 back to back. I think from a showmanship standpoint, there was a lot to learn. And also Shannon, and being a host and interviewer and broadcaster, giving his guest room to speak, I think was very powerful. So if we're going to start with the positive, those are the positives that I would have taken from the interview.
I will second that. I think the power of independence was big when he talked about funding his own tour.
Yep.
And taking the credit for that. You know, a lot of times people say that was great, who did this? And it's like, nah, that was me. I thought that was dope. I think him calling them out, the new age of comedians by name, was important.
That was fire.
He could have just said I liked everybody, but he called each one of them out independently. And he might have missed a few, but the fact that he named some tells me that he's a student of the craft still. I think he was a student of his time. And if you listen to that, he literally watched every episode of Club Shay Shay,
did his homework,
and came back and refuted everything that someone had said throughout every episode. And you know, there was a lot of truths, and some of them maybe they were fabricated, but he studied before he got there. And a lot of times people don't do that. They come and they're like, I'm just gonna do this interview, I'm gonna sit down and I don't have a message. And he did. He seized his moment, and to call it viral would be an understatement. You're talking about 35 million views in less than a week.
That's crazy.
They were asking Unc, like, could that ever happen again? And he was like, I don't think something like that can ever happen again. I'd have to get Michael Jordan on here to tell me why he retired in 1993. It would be the only way. And even then, I don't think it would catch people by surprise, because it just needs a level of controversy. But those things stuck out, and definitely the education piece. And shout out to Principal Ra. I know he clipped that piece up about, you know, teachers being underpaid and undervalued and have the most important job. I thought that was super important. And you could tell he's a bright dude. You can tell he's a bright dude. And he had a lot to get off his chest, and he waited for this moment. He waited right to the end of the year, accepted the invite, and the rest is now history. 35 million views. That's incredible. Shout out to Unc, and shout out to Club Shay Shay, and shout out to him for creating a moment for us.
Rashad, what about you?
Yeah, you know, I think that Katt Williams is one of the greatest comedians. He's a very funny person, but
and was signed to Dipset at one point.
For sure. That's a fact. But you know, I just feel like I'm gonna take the contrarian view on this point. Like I said before, man, you know, you die hero or live long enough to be a villain. I just don't like the narrative of like whenever somebody becomes successful, it's because they signed a deal with Illuminati or they sold their soul. And I don't agree with that. And like, you know, I see a lot of things personally, and I know that people are smart. Like I know Kevin Hart's a really smart person. I read his book, somebody I actually studied, and I got a chance to see him speak. And he's an extremely intelligent person as far as his business acumen.
Kev Sharp.
So I don't know. I just don't feel like even like, you know, truth telling has limits, because it's like, I think like Charlamagne said, I spoke with him, but you calling somebody a plant, but who's the gardener? Right? Like you can call out a soldier, but even a top soldier is still a soldier. So until you actually start calling out names of generals and lieutenants, it's just infighting. It's not really going anywhere. The only person that really ever called out generals in a semi-cohesive state was Dame Dash. Kanye did it, but Kanye's not mentally stable. So like the only one that was like, you know, like kind of semi-stable that actually did it was Dame. That's something I really respect. Like call out somebody that really has power. Harvey Weinstein's already done. That's an easy call out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're going to start calling people out, call people out that really have the power. He's saying like somebody wore a dress, but who made them wear a dress? Who financed the movie? Who's the person that's really behind? Who's like, now we start to really see it. Like just calling out people at the end of the day, like they might have money, but they don't really have power. So how productive is it really? It's a good entertainment. And you know, it leads people get swayed easily. So like, oh, we're in the age of truth telling. How are we in the age of truth telling? The people in power are still in power and nobody knows who they are. So what truth are we telling? What exposure? Who's really getting exposed? You know what I'm saying? Like
people who doing nasty work, but
who's really getting exposed? What I'm saying, it's not the age of exposure. It sounds good.
You don't think so?
It's just a catchy phrase. Nobody really getting exposed, because the people that really get exposed, you don't even know who they are. You never even heard of them before, and they'll never get exposed. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot.
The Epstein list just came out.
and nobody said one thing about it. That's my problem.
It happens.
It's not as viral as this, but
you know why?
Epstein was
They
came
got
out.
swept.
And you know why nobody said nothing about the Epstein? Because the only person that they knew was Bill Clinton, as far as like a name. If it was Diddy on that list, it would be all over Shade Room. If it was Beyonce on that list, it would be all over every black media outlet possible. 250 people's names. These is powerful people. You don't know who these people are, so it's like, all right, we don't care. That's what I'm saying. It's fake. We can act like we in the age of exposure. It's no. They gave you 250 names of very extremely powerful and wealthy people, and nobody said one thing.
I think the names that they gave, people already knew. Like Clinton was there, Trump was there, Prince Edward was there. But like you said, there's 247 people that are dignitaries that we didn't even think of. And it happened simultaneously. This interview happens, and now that becomes a thing that people talk about, especially in our community. That becomes a thing that we talk about, and whatever happened over there, all right, whatever.
People just want to be entertained. That's it. It's not about exposing. It's not about this. It's just about entertainment. If you can entertain people, you're gonna always have a career and something to talk about. So it's just fake. I feel like it's just fake outrage. Nobody really care about exposing. Nobody. It's not real to me. I don't really think it's real until I start to see real power being attacked. I don't really look at it as real. I just look at it as entertainment.
Can you define real power?
Like I said, people that's really in position. If you want to talk about Hollywood, who's really behind Hollywood? Who's really in control of films? Who's really moving the finances? That's people that's in power. If you want to talk about business, who's really running hedge funds? Who's really behind Wall Street? If you want to talk about politics, who's really running financial campaigns to get people elected? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is, other than that, it sound good. It's a slogan. That's all it is, like a bumper sticker.
Fair.
Well, I mean, we're only in January. I think more to come. I think once they put this going to be a lot more heat on this.
And Kanye speak, but Kanye not mentally stable. So Kanye will say something, then he'll come back and apologize. Then he'll put his wife naked. And I love Kanye. I'm one of the biggest Kanye fans ever in history of life. But I mean, bro can't really be taken seriously right now. He's not somebody that can actually. So when he says something, it don't really even matter because he gonna apologize. You can't expose something and then apologize.
No, the walking naked and barefoot is wild.
Nah, you always apologizing. Like, my whole thing is like,
that's what happens when you get death threats, though. You gotta apologize.
But don't say something if you're gonna apologize.
Or be concise.
A lot of people who do that.
But he could be concise in the thought. Sometimes it's not, right? Like, he'll apologize and then he'll do the listening for the album in Vegas and he'll have the same thought. It's like, well, what? This don't even make sense. Or why are you apologizing right before the rollout of a shoe? Right?
So
like,
is it really an apology,
or
is it to sell your album,
or was it part of sell your shoe?
Sell your socks? Like I said, shout out to Ye, but come on, I think
shout out to you.
But did Katt tell a lie though, other than the 440 and the 3,000 pages?
I don't really know what's a lie or not, but like I said, I'm not in that inner circle.
Yeah.
But I just feel like when you just say like, all right, Ludacris got the role because he's an Illuminati. I mean, what is Illuminati? I've never seen Illuminati. I haven't seen this yet. But I don't know. I just find it hard to believe.
You didn't get the email?
That's what I'm about to say.
It might be my junk.
I got the email. I didn't get the Lake Como email, but I got the Illuminati email.
It might be in my junk. Or
yeah, the spam. Got you.
But
perhaps.
And even like, you calling somebody's wife ugly.
That's too far.
I don't really rock with Ludacris' wife is not ugly though.
But you don't even do that.
I just don't see the benefit in doing that. I feel like he's hurt. And he probably has a lot of legitimate gripes with people. So I can't speak on that because he might have personal issues. But Steve Harvey, everybody know he had a man unit. That wasn't new information. That came out 10 years ago.
Yeah. And it's even instant. The attack on him is like he's a gatekeeper, but the young comedians that you named, he plays a major role in their success.
He didn't attack one gatekeeper. Nobody.
No, I'm talking about he was saying gatekeeper, but he was mentioning him in that sense. But then, shout out to 85 South, but to a man, they will tell you the role that he played in their career. So it just kind of, I don't know his truth because we're not from that circle, right? So I can't say what he's saying is a lie, but I know that the work that these guys put in, and I know some of the works that and the influence that he had on them. That part I do know.
But my last thing with Katt, like I said, I'm actually a Katt Williams fan. But I just feel like there's
Yeah, me too.
there's inconsistencies in it. Like he talked about, like he didn't want to wear a dress, and he talked about like a lot of black empowerment themes and stuff like that. But I'm like, your whole career was built on being a pimp. So it's like, which is better, wearing a dress or being a pimp? Like a pimp literally puts women on the track and they sell their bodies for money to men. There's nothing funny about being a pimp. Like that's not, there's no empowering thing about being a pimp. Like I said, I'm not knocking it, but it's like when you start knocking one person, you got to make sure, like, it's not like you played a Malcolm X your whole life and you trying to like uplift black people. Like you played a pimp in Friday and you've played a series of pimps. So it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. Like, how is that empowering, or how is that beneficial to society? Like, you want your daughter to be a prostitute? But like I said, I mean, it don't even matter what it is, because it's like people are very emotional and they just say like, and I realize that people just hate people at the top. So it's like, yeah, they all gatekeepers, they all Illuminati, they all, well.
I mean, but I think the biggest point he was touching on was integrity, and I don't know which parts were true and the joke stealing and all that, because there was some reports of him stealing jokes came out. But I think the biggest thing he was pushing on was people not being fair or trying to hold people back. And I know that's something I don't practice. I know some of y'all don't practice. Even like with Keys, like every time I would see Keys, I'd be like, yo, get on stage, kill everybody, including me. Don't hold back. But if everyone doesn't feel like that and people are doing sucker shit behind the scenes to keep people from being elevated, I can see why he would have. But I get your point about not mentioning the gatekeepers. But if we want to mention the gatekeepers, we can. We can do it.
My whole thing is this, man. If we're in the age of telling the truth, then just tell the truth. Tell the whole truth, not part of the truth. And don't just attack somebody that looks like you. Attack everybody. You gotta go full-fledged. Like I said, that's why I respect Dame, because Dame don't care. Dame attack everybody. Say what you want about Dame. He's equal opportunity. He's equal opportunity attacker.
Yeah.
And he spoke at the highest level to the highest people. And he paid the consequences for it.
Absolutely. That's a lot that comes with that too. It's a lot that most people don't want to carry that burden.
Love.
Well,
we're gonna leave with that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. One last thing. What will you say to the naysayers that say that we're caping just because we have a relationship with Steve? Because you know it's gonna come out tomorrow.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything.
Good luck, love. Good luck.
Well,
I don't have to defend my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with my opinion. I don't have to defend my opinion either.
I like this energy. I like this energy.
That's just a fact. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest threat in 2024 is?
Suckers.
By a long shot.
Can I get messy now?
The biggest threat.
Hey,
sucker free, man.
I think the biggest threat to economy and the stock market is lack of leadership and not having this debt situation under control. I think a lot of people are hiding the truth underneath a blanket for America to get through this election cycle. But I think the economy is a lot worse than they're letting on to be. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, but the yield curve has been inverted for 18 months. Not a good thing. Credit card debt, highest it's ever been. I think now the debt's growing at $1 trillion every 60 days or 90 days now. And because of interest going up higher, we can't even make a dent in the interest payments for the country. So better leadership is the biggest issue in how much debt, for sure. And I think this is part of the reason why some of this truth is starting to come out, to get everyone's attention off of these issues that really, really matter. They could have put out that Epstein list 3 years ago if they wanted to. They didn't want to.
Epstein.
That's above my pay grade. I won't touch on that. I can hear my mom and dad now. I love y'all. I'm gonna leave that alone. But they could have put that list out long ago if they wanted to. They didn't want to. And there was some names on there that in our community that are not being talked about, but I'm gonna leave that alone too. But lack of leadership and debt being too high as a tool of destruction are the biggest threats of 2024.
Ian, where's BRICS at on your threat meter? January 1 of this
Now we
year.
want to talk about some shit I was right about.
UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Egypt were added effective January 1 of this year. Where's BRICS at in terms of threat meter for you?
Fourth. It's Chris Bosh or something, Ray Allen. Like it's in the starting five. Trust me. And everyone's saying, hey, this is a long, I think the formation of BRICS is what, 2012, 2011. This is a long-term plan. Only in America, as a superpower, as a country, are we planning year-to-year, worst-case scenario, 4-year cycle at best. I think the Democrat, Republican veneer, the WWE fight that they have every 4 years, is going to be a cause of the destruction of our country. Everyone is looking to team up on us. I know everyone in the comments normally say it doesn't matter. Trust me, it matters. And people are getting a little bit more afraid than ever. And at a time where Robert F. Kennedy is picking up steam, where I didn't think he had a chance in hell. Like, people are unhappy with leadership across the board. And the trust for politicians, I think, probably is at a lower point than it was in 2007, 2008, which is not a good sign.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, been real.
It's been real, y'all. It's been absolutely real.
I can give us 15 more minutes if I go into my bag, but
it's been real. We gotta blow out the candles.
Hey, good segue. Yes, we're gonna stay focused on love, light, positivity. Michael Jackson, Katt Williams. Hey, also, y'all content creators are gonna try and take this Katt Williams lane. Make sure you have security and guns.
Safety first.
A lot of y'all be running your mouth. Hey, babe boy, I know you want to play big dog in DMs. If I make that call to Chihuahua, yellow. Leave me alone.
Safety first. He said I appear a lot bigger in person than I am.
That's a fact, though, Ian. You made a good point. That everybody, we live in a copycat world, so everybody wants to follow the leader. Once one thing happens, then everybody follow the leader. So
safety. Nice.
If you follow in suit,
safety. Not good. It didn't work out for Adam. I think Adam about to wrap their whole business up. Just him and Lena on that couch now.
What's your problem? What's your problem with Adam? What's your issue with Adam?
This is funny. I actually like Adam.
Okay.
Shout out to 55th. Shout out Flacco. Shout out China Mac. My thing is to call out business structure. I've been saying for 3 years, most of these podcasts and shows were lying about how well they were doing, and most importantly, they don't add any value.
Yeah.
So it's a case study.
We saw Audacity file for bankruptcy.
More to come. More to come.
For restructuring
purposes. A canary in a coal mine, if you will.
Yeah, restructuring purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. I don't have no issue.
So there's no problem with Adam 22.
No, and I don't think he'll vulture either. I know people hate when I say that, but it's like, well, he came in and he was doing BMX and came to hip hop. We don't have no guidelines and governance in hip hop anyway. We've been sold our culture long ago. So,
open door policy.
Absolutely. And I always said it, outwork the vultures. People can talk about Gary Vee and Vlad and put out more content there. Only solution. Easy to talk, hard to upload clips every day and record every day. It's tough. So if you outwork the vultures, we won't have this issue. So
hold your head.
Do you think people are more concerned about getting money, or are they more concerned with just being entertained?
Entertained.
That's easy. Landslide.
Entertained. Most people, and I know the men hate it, most people really don't want to run up a bag. Don't no.
Too busy to get rich.
Yeah.
Shout out Chris, big facts.
what kids say?
Like, people can point out whatever flaws I have. Like my demeanor, how I present it, Listen, in video alone, show been out 4 years. How much money would you have made if you would have put 10,000 Apple in 2020? How much would you have now? Apple, Microsoft, and video. You can say Square and Meta. I was wrong on. Cool. The ones I was right on, 5x that shit. I was up 2,800% last year for my advice, not talking to nobody. For all of y'all who think I need a business manager and all that, I hear you. But if you're not grossing what I'm grossing, why I need you to manage me?
You can't talk like I thought.
2024. For what? If I let me out of poverty, why I need you to lead me in anything? And quit clout chasing. That go for everybody. Quit clout chasing. They won't let me get in my messy bag. I'm gonna wait till February, March. Quit clout chasing, man. It don't work.
Put a pin in that and come back.
The crazy thing is, like, the people were like, yo,
yeah, sure, Shotty, come on.
Nah, the sell your soul thing is another comment. Like I said, I know people that sold their soul for free and didn't get nothing from it.
Or $12.99 a month.
You sold your soul.
Boy.
You sold your soul and didn't even get a bag out of it. A lot of you.
Can we say who they are? Because I want to be like Katt.
No, this is just regular person
walking
down the street.
Pick them.
You don't even take care of your kid. How you going? You're not even in a position to speak. You're a deadbeat dad. Scum of the earth.
Boy, 14 roommates.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We are walking into the new year.
Tell me say that, I will.
We walking into the new year with love.
Yes,
because that's the key. That's the answer. That's the universal language. And we pioneered that, man. So we're gonna continue to do that. But
we pioneered love?
Huh? No. Lead in with it.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Positive. Come on, Mike. If you're gonna put positive, spell vibes right then, bro.
Positive vides. That's like my Spanish. Vides. I got you.
Positive vides.
Positive vides.
Wait, what he said. Yo, just stop, bro. Just stop.
Positive vidas only. Yo, the relationship that you have with your child's mom is never no excuse for you not taking care of your kids.
Big facts.
It's a fact.
Big facts.
Yo, this man tried it twice.
No matter how egregious or tough it may be, you still got a parent and father. And also, fellas, you got to realize too, if you got a pregnant, that was still your choice. You still got a parent and take care of. No, I know it's not easy, but
no excuse for a man. It's a shame that dudes are too broke to pay attention, but hopefully they'll listen. Hopefully.
See, when I get Troy in this petty bag, yes.
No.
Get some Duce going. Real life. We'll go viral.
Nah, man, we're not gonna do that, man. All rights reserved. So it's been a glorious Monday.
Can we do a petty after hour shotty? Like this.
Ian, I'll end with this, man. Can I end with this with you?
After dark. That's the real after dark.
We had some real family moments in the crowd. I just want to end with that, man. Tell me your greatest takeaway from visiting Ghana over the past 10 days.
There's an incredible opportunity there. Man, you got me on my petty bag. I'm so mad at you. Family vibe. New Year's Eve was amazing, but it was one of the locations that I probably felt the safest and just like most loved, if you will. Business side, of course, is a bunch of opportunity, but I think there's a lot of development there to be done, and I hope we can have a large part to play in that over the next 10 to 15 years. Yeah, I had a good time. Good lobby time. That was fun. Good little restaurant time. Yeah,
lobby boys.
Yeah. So I ain't like the sickness part, but you know,
opportunity.
Absolutely, got a little time to bond.
Opportunity, but even from a standpoint of, I could tell you what you need if you get sick.
Yeah, I should have prepared better. Hey, baby, hope you feel better.
Got you.
Nightcap, new show.
Activated charcoal.
Ian, we could just go full crazy.
I'm down
on the nightcap.
I got about 22 names to name.
We can go full crazy.
Y'all think that Epstein list or something? Boy, I put out my list. Boy,
I'm gonna put the disclaimer right at the bottom. Not that Troy's not here.
Yep.
Let's name him. Nah, man, it's all good.
Somebody said, "Am I sick?" I am still sick, and I'm tired, and I'm sick and tired.
You sick and tired? You suckers, ain't it? See, they hate when we start getting along.
That's why I said if we do this nightcap show, it's no trading and no stock talking. It's just
hey,
reckless
drama.
abandonment. Reckless abandonment.
Question
love
number
is,
one, Rashad.
the love
who
is
your
gone. The
top
guns
for
is drawn.
2023? Boy.
I'm trying to get canceled.
Please.
That's Rashad, not me.
Please.
I gotta wait till next year.
They froze it. They froze them.
I've been
Oh my
canceled
God.
14 times.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Well, they got me in the Matrix.
Yes, a fact.
That's it. See? So I start talking crazy.
That's a
See?
fact.
That's
All right,
God
y'all.
doing God's work.
Tomorrow, Earn Your Leisure. Another powerful episode. We ended it with student loans. We starting the year with credit. And we learned something. I learned a lot. Every time we get to get a new person and a new perspective on a topic that we haven't had before, we get new insight. So make sure y'all check that out tomorrow at 1. Ian is still in the Matrix. Shadi, what's your final word?
They said Illuminati cut off my internet. That's funny. I paid my subscription, dude. Like, what? Paying my membership dues for 2024? Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Who in the Bilderberg group I got to call? Hold on.
Send the contract.
Yo, that's crazy. He's still in the icebox. That's crazy.
Send the contract. All right. It's been real. See you tomorrow.
Peace, y'all. Love.
Peace.
Said long live Tupac.